Bridget Jones's Diary, mad about the boy. This is the new Renée Zellweger film, starring Renée Zellweger. Also starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, Leo Woodall. Yep. I'm just going to quickly read the synopsis on IMDb. Bridget Jones navigates life as a widow, which means the Colin Firth character has died, and single mum with the help of her family, friends, and former lover, Daniel. That's Hugh Grant. Back to work and on the apps, she's pursued by a younger man, and what else does it say? And maybe, just maybe, her son's science teacher. Wow, that synopsis gives away quite a lot. Sorry about that. Spoiler alert. What did I think of this film? Really great, really funny, oddly sad. Like it starts off at what seems like it could just be a bunch of sketches almost, but slowly morphs into a film poignantly talking about grief and dealing with grief. And yeah, it hit me. Like, I've missed these British comedies. They're great. I just think this film was perfectly sort of what it was. It is a Bridget Jones' Diary film, which means it isn't, an Oscar-worthy film. Like, the acting's a little bit weird sometimes, and the script's a little bit strange, and it feels a little bit forced sometimes. But in the end, there's this sort of the British tone about it, which just kind of makes you feel warm inside a little bit, and makes you just sort of root for these characters. And yeah, like, it was just, once you got into it, once you got past the sort of like, that sketch feels a little bit forced, that moment feels a bit oddly over the top acting, people jumping around on the beds and dancing, like, it doesn't feel real. Once you sort of get over that, and you kind of get sucked into that vibe, and then you find yourself laughing, you find yourself crying, you find yourself just really absorbed in the film. Really absorbed. I just thought it was really great. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it. By the end of it, I was like, I could watch this forever. I could be in this world forever. What a great world, the Bridget Jones world. I have to say, Renée Zellweger's English accent is top notch. Sometimes American actors fall a little short on the English accent, but Denzel Washington, look up his English accent. Awful. But Renée Zellweger's English accent is undeniably perfect. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell. You would just think she's English, honestly. She's just great at that accent. She's so good at it. And then Hugh Grant is so charming, so funny, so crass, such an unbelievably inappropriate character. Like, there's a bit where he's just teaching these kids how to make a dirty bitch, which is a drink that he's made up, and it's just realistic. It's just funny, and like, so what his character would do. And it's strange how he became this. He started off as this like romantic lead that everybody is in total love with, and I'm talking about in the Bridget Jones Diary universe. Then he turns into this absolute dickhead that everybody hates, and now he's just this charming sort of friend that you're so happy has stuck around. I know that his character technically died in one of the films, then came back alive. To be honest with you, I don't really remember, and it really doesn't matter. Like, if you want to watch this film and you can't remember or haven't even seen the other films, I think it works. Like, I only remember the first Bridget Jones, if I'm honest with you. And him having died in the past or come back alive, it makes no difference whatsoever. It's not even addressed in this film, I don't think. So I just think I think it's great. There's a moment, and this might be a spoiler. If you don't want to hear any spoilers whatsoever, I guess, then just go away. You're not wanted here. But there's just this moment where there's flashbacks of Colin Firth singing "I'd Do Anything" from Oliver to his kids in bed, when they're in bed, and he just sings, "I'd do anything for you, dear, anything," and it's really cute. Just lovely to watch a father sort of son moment. And And then obviously that's like a flashback, and we know he's died, and the kids are having to deal with the grief in their own way, and the mum is having to deal with it in her own way, and it all leads to this point where they go on like a school trip, and it's the mum and this science teacher who's very like, death is the end. There is no heaven, and they're sitting around a fire pit in the middle of this school trip, in the middle of this field. And Bridget Jones goes to look after some of the other school kids, and the son is there, and he's like, he misses his dad. He loves his dad. He misses his dad, and this science teacher hasn't been very comforting up to this moment, and he's just like, well, there is no heaven. That's a fairy tale. Which I agree with. I don't believe in heaven necessarily, but he says something so poignant here. And he says, energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted. So, your dad, he says to the kid, is made up of energy. Everything about him is energy, like his personality, his laugh, his body, everything is energy. And even though his body stopped working and his brain shut down and he's dead now, the energy that made him was not destroyed. It was transferred, and it is everywhere. It is in everything, especially in the little kid. Like, he is around in some sense. He's not disappeared. In some sense, he's around. And oh my God, I relate to that so much. I really get that sense. I've lost both my parents, and grief is an interesting thing to deal with, and that's a beautiful way to look at it, because it's scientifically true. Like, they are still around. They're everywhere. Really, they're in this room right now, and the energy that was within them is within me, and that's amazing to think about, and that's a really beautiful moment. And I was like, just on the verge of tears there, but I wasn't quite. I was like, okay, I'm holding it together. And he goes, let's, tell me your favorite memory of your dad. And then the film sort of cuts away, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I was going to die. I was about to cry. I was like, if he starts talking about his favorite memory, I'm going to cry. And anyway, the film sort of moves on, and they're at this talent contest, and Bridget Jones is there. But Bridget Jones and us as the audience are not expecting the son to do anything at this talent contest other than like sing in the choir, I think. But he comes on at the end to sing a solo, and the science teacher is playing piano, and he's like, this is a special sort of last minute addition. And Bridget Jones is like, what's he going to do? And he starts singing, I'd do anything for you. That song from Oliver Twist, for some reason. That song that he, we remembered Colin Firth singing that to him as a kid. And then we think back to that campfire scene, and we're like, oh, that must have been the memory that he told him. Like, of all the memories of his dad, it's this like beautiful, like, I feel like I'm going to cry right now. It's just this just one-on-one tiny little moment. It's not like this big, beautiful gesture of like, of love or some incredible big memory that you could never possibly forget. It's a real intimate, personal, look, I'm almost tearing up. Those moments mean so much to people, right? And it's so lovely just saying goodnight to your kid in your own sort of special way. Like, honestly, like, those are sort of the things that I remember when I think of my mum and my dad. It's so silly that I'm like tearing up, but it's never the big things. It's just these tiny little cute things, and that film just had me like, oh God, I'm crying. I was literally like, the tears just were like pouring down my face, and I was like, this is insane. And Bridget Jones's Diary movie, just like tears coming down my face. So just wonderful. It hit me. I'm not sure this is the sort of film that's going to hit everybody, but it just hit me in the heart, and I need to shake that off, because it's so, films that deal with grief in these sort of ways, in like happy ways as well. That's even more tragic. It's even more sad, right? It's not characters crying and wailing. It's films that deal with it in sort of nice ways, and it hits me even harder. So Wonderful film. I totally recommend it. And strange to cry on camera, but that's just it is it is what it is. But yeah, like, that's what we do here on Popcorn King. We're honest, all right? We delve deep in emotions, and that's what great art does. And you might just think of Bridget Jones's Diary as a silly rom-com British silly thing, just silly. Like, it wasn't even released in the cinemas in America, so it's just a silly thing, and yet it can hit you so hard. And it is what it is. So I recommend that film massively.